Every morning, thousands of children around Kenya wake up at the crack of dawn to go to school. Majority walk, some use motorcycles, and a good number of them board school buses, trusting that they will arrive safely at their destinations. However, sometimes this journey becomes a dangerous one.
A family in Katani in Machakos County is seeking answers after their 3-year-old son died in a mysterious accident involving their school bus.
Police in Kitengela, Kajiado County are holding a school driver alleged to have defiled a 14-year-old minor.
Behind these headlines, a family is beginning to grieve. This is the story of the challenges faced by our youngest commuters, the mystery of unresolved cases, and a loud silence from authorities. My name is Francis Ontomwa. In this special report, I'll show you how some Kenyan schools are making a mockery of clear traffic regulations while enforcers are mum. Kenya's National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) says between January and April 2024, a total of 1,213 people lost their lives through accidents, and the statistics keeps growing by the day. Behind these statistics are real people, real faces, and some of them our little ones.
30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 30.
Little Liam is part of a growing statistic. His tender life was cruelly taken just shy of his 4th birthday. The bus his parents trusted to ferry him to and from school became the very vehicle that ended his life.
Liam was this promising son I had, because that was the only son I had. And generally, Liam was promising. I didn't know that this could come this early, for me to be found on media talking about the death of Liam. Me, I knew Liam could prosper. That son tunge celebrate as Kenyans.
Liam was a PP1 student at Syokimau's Goodrich International. His mother Mercy recounts the fateful day that would change her life forever. He died as he was being dropped home from school on the 9th of February 2024.
As usual, my son is picked by 6:30, latest 7. And I remember the bus matron or the attendant calling me, is Liam ready? And I told her, as usual, Liam is usually ready. You just come and pick him. So I had trained my son in a way that I don't escort my son to the bus, because when he grows up, you know, there are things you train a boy so that he becomes independent. Actually, Liam was independent. So he'll just go down the stairs and go to the bus. And when the bus arrived that very morning, I remember my son telling me, "Mommy, bye." didn't have even the energy to get to him. I just saw the bag and I know that is my son, and he's gone.
And this is the spot where Liam breathed his last. An isolated, rugged, bumpy road. Despite the tough terrain, Liam was left to sit alone in the co-driver's seat without a seatbelt. According to the school, he dropped off and the front wheel crushed him to death. The autopsy report revealed that Liam died from extensive blunt force trauma to the head that exposed his skull bone and damaged his brain. His right eye and ear were mutilated, his upper and lower jaws fractured, leading to loss of teeth, and his limbs and chest also badly injured. Liam's mother says after the painful experience, Goodrich International School pushed her away.
I still have questions about that school. Because the owner of the school, I don't know the owner of the school. I'm told she's a lady. She's never called. She's never come to my place. She's never, there's no concern. She's never told me anything, even just being remorseful and saying thank you. Maybe if she could have come to me and said that it's okay, Mama Liam, she felt that the remorsefulness, maybe it could have cleared all this. But she's never there. The principal only forwarded to us the statement. She's never called since then. They were never there during the funeral. Nobody was sent to the funeral when we were laying my son to rest, even a school representative, none of them.
This is the text message that Liam's mother is referring to, sent by the principal of the Goodrich International School, a message that seemed to suggest that it was all Liam's fault that he died. It reads in part, "The learners were on their usual evening trip home when the accident occurred around the junction of the Semengelani Road. From the reports we got from our team who were on board with learners, the boy happened to have sat with the driver in the front seat, and since the road is maram and bumpy, the boy, without the driver's notice, unlocked the door and fell off without the driver's notice. Fortunately, the bus assistants who sat with the rest of the learners in the bus noticed quickly and notified the driver in panic, who applied the emergency brakes only to hit the boy at the back wheels."
Who controls the movement of the children in and out, especially if you are handling primary school going children, and even more critically kindergarten, you need to control the door from either the minder's side or the driver's side. So you don't have kids, because you can be in a 54-seater bus, you're seated at the front and a child out of nowhere opens the door and falls off. You don't have enough reaction time. So you need to have the bus fabricated or built in such a way that the doors can only be controlled from a central point.
In as far as I'm concerned, that is carelessness and negligence on the part of the driver. And one specific aspect of it, what we know as practitioners, is that all school children must be allocated seating and seat belts. So that is a fundamental and basic rule of every safety regulation that a school must adhere to.
When the unfortunate happens, it is good to know that this child was a child of that school, this parent was a friend to this school, and this is not the time to fight. This is the time for people to join hands, differ on even the issue of compensation, because nobody can compensate, but they need to be reassured that they are still loved, they are still taken care of.
We reached out to Goodrich International School where Liam was a student. We wanted a right of reply over the happening and how the school handled Liam's case. We met with this receptionist who told us that the principal was out of the office on official duties and won't be back anytime soon.
So the editor is not available. Nimepiga simu na hata amesema for even any other media house wote anybody yote itakuwa hakuna haja ya contradict tuseme hivi media niseme vingine vinyume na kuanga, so I'd rather just keep it the way it is. Yes.
Liam's burial was emotional, filled with anguish and anger. Amidst the sadness, the family is seeking answers. Was the co-driver's seat where Liam sat properly locked? And how could one drop off if the seatbelt was well fastened?
To me, it doesn't make sense. And if it makes sense, then there must be a child lock. If a child must sit there. But now he's seated there, I'm told he's the one who opened the door. Now I'm wondering what was the condition of this door? And why is it that the matron was seated behind with some colleagues and nobody was there to monitor my son? Because they were 4. There was a teacher, the driver, and two attendants. What were they doing behind there that made them just ignore my son to sit there and be involved in that fatal accident?
James Kiomoke.
For the first time, we can reveal the face of the driver of the ill-fated bus, James Kiomoke. Evidence filed in court by the prosecution show that the bus KCG 250F belonging to Goodrich International that he was driving did not have a valid NTSA inspection sticker, and the speed governor was defective at the time of the accident. Our cameras captured the ill-fated bus still picking learners at Pipeline Estate days after Liam's death. We were not able to independently verify if the bus had now been cleared to carry learners.
Umeshtakiwa na kosa la kusababisha kifo kwa sababu ya kuendesha vibaya kwa gari kinyume na sheria, maelezo yakiwa tarehe 9 mwezi wa Februari mwaka huu saa 11 jioni pale Sema Ngilani ambayo iko Katani, Mlolongo, Machakos County. James Kiomoke, ni ukweli ama si ukweli?
Kweli.
Jambo gani ambalo ungependa koti lizingatie ili kuonea huruma kabla hajatoa uamuzi wake?
Ndio, kulingana na mimi siku hiyo na kupeleka watoto nyumbani, ile barabara nilikuwa napita haikuwa barabara ya lami. Penye ile mlango ilifunguka, sikujua ilifunguka namna gani. Nilishtukia tu mtoto ameanguka. Kanyaga breki, kwenda kuangalia, kapata mtoto hayuko. Na kuanguka kwa mtoto haikuwa kupenda kwangu. Hata ningekuwa na uwezo ningezuia, lakini ikawa imetendeka. Tena kwa hayo, nyumbani kwetu mimi ndio tegemeo. Niko na watoto wako shule.
Ilikuwa jukumu lako la kufunga huyu mtoto mkanda wa usalama?
Hiyo ilikuwa jukumu ya wasaidizi wangu. Kazi yangu ilikuwa ni kuendesha gari.
Today, the case has been given a new date. Meanwhile, he's been slapped with a cash bail of 100,000 Kenyan shillings. Days before Liam's death, the ill-fated Goodrich International School bus is captured on CCTV cameras, leaving Syokimau's 360 apartments. Notice how it swerves and knocks down a minder while making its way out. The guards are seen here trying to catch the attention of the driver, who speeds off, leaving her on the ground. It is not clear whether the man behind the wheels is James Kiomoke, but what's clear is the sheer carelessness displayed by the Goodrich International driver. Off camera, I showed this video to Moki, but he denied that he was the one driving on that day. It remains an uncertain search for justice that may or may not come, but the dead will stay dead. In Kenya, the law requires that school buses must possess a valid road service license and a valid inspection certificate to operate legally. The vehicles must be roadworthy and meet all the safety standards, including a functional speed limiter. Drivers are required to hold the requisite driving license class endorsement and possess a valid PSV badge, indicating compliance with regulations and proficiency in operating PSVs. But are Kenyan schools implementing these safety regulations? I'm on a fact-finding mission. My first stop is in the Eastlands of Nairobi on the busy Manyanja Road. First off, in Kenya, the law on official school hours offers that no day institution of basic education and training shall require learners to report earlier than 7:15 a.m. We are here some minutes before 4 a.m. and already learners are up and down, a clear breach of the law. This Lakewood school bus is being driven with the door open, and so is this Diwopa Catholic preschool bus. The Diwopa bus even stops right on the road to pick learners, exposing danger not just to the learners, but also other road users. Same story with the Deska Junior School bus moving with doors wide open.
There should be a procedure. Where do you stop the bus? How many meters from the road? And what are the procedures? Stop the bus, have your hazard lights on, then make sure that it's safe. Have the minder outside the bus, observing if from where the kid is alighting, are there any other motorists using that road? You know, these days we have borders. Are there any of them?
It's worse for those using public means. This PSV appears to be in a hurry and children are forced to board while it's in motion. We filmed this van registration number KAE111N forcing a U-turn at a dangerous spot on this busy highway. Helpless students are seated and staring at the danger. Some of the buses driven with broken windows. These children are going back home after a long day at school. The van is crowded and these little ones are moving all over the van without seatbelts on. The van has a minder on board, but from the look of things, he does not appear to take charge of affairs. Some are even deep asleep without seatbelts on. In the county of Kisii, we captured even more profligacy. This minder attached to Precious Hope School is risking the lives of these learners driving with an open door. Peril Primary School, a man alights at a risky junction while the bus is moving. Further afield, NAB school bus stops suddenly at a sharp bend, obstructing movement and putting everyone at risk. I'm joining a press conference called by the Ministry of Transport and Interior on road safety. Waziri, our youngest commuters in the kindergarten and primary schools are facing perhaps the biggest risk while commuting to and from school. Most school buses have no seat belts and they are always crowded. Would you agree that there is laxity in enforcing the law?
First of all, Francis, the question of laxity in the school bus enforcement is not just the school buses. It's just as many transport. Many people, as I was saying earlier, have gone back to violating these rules. You know, it's one thing to do the rule, and the other is to enforce. And this enforcement requires, it's both ways. The people who use the transport, the vehicles, and also the police. Although we can't have enough policemen to stop people and enforce them, we have enough Kenyans inside these vehicles who can stop this bad behavior. So it starts with personal responsibility. That is on our side. Number two, I agree with you that if you look at some of the vehicles transporting our children, they look like they are very old. They are finished their work with matatu work, and now they are on the road. That's why one of the directives we gave here is that all school vehicles now must be presented for inspection before May 1st, all of them. And we'll make sure that we do our best to weed out the ones that are not roadworthy. But also I request parents, not to accept their children to be dropped using these unroadworthy vehicles. If you look at these vehicles the way they are, and many of these parents are paying, especially you've talked about private schools, they're paying a lot of money to take their children to those schools, and they're paying transport fee, and it's a huge amount. We want to ask parents also to take responsibility to help us making sure that they reject transport vehicles that are unroadworthy.
I am off to Kajiado County to meet another family that lost its kin 9 years ago. But to date, almost a decade later, they are yet to find justice. Trevor, a class 3 student at the St. Anne's Kisaju Academy, died on the 10th of September 2015 at around 4 p.m. along the stretch on the Isinya Kitengela Road. He was knocked down and ran over by a speeding lorry moments after alighting from the school bus unsupervised on this busy highway.
Hi, karibu sana. Asante sana. Karibu sana Mr. Ontomwa. Naendelea vizuri. Naendelea vizuri.
He was only 8.
Hiyo siku ilikuwa tarehe 10. Watoto ndio walikuwa ilikuwa kama siku ya 3 ama siku ya 2 tangu wafungue. So mimi saa hiyo tu nikasikia nimestuka. Unajua kama mzazi ukisikia kitu kama hiyo nikastuka, lakini singefikiria ni ati mtoto wangu ameaga.
For years she has avoided coming to this part of the road where Trevor met his death. But today she is confronting her fears. She shows me the I want to speak to St. Anne's Kisaju. I want to know what has changed in the school's transport management system since the death of Trevor.
Thank you. My name is Francis
Ontomwa.
I'm a journalist.
and I work for KTN.
KTN?
Yes. What has changed with some of the things that has happened, especially your bus safety precautions and the program?
We've been running the school for the last 30 years.
Okay.
So it's not that it's a new venture.
Okay.
So we've been picking up and dropping children all along. So it's just the way I think normal accident could happen. So from there, nothing else has happened.
The school management is, however, not ready to discuss this matter. I live without answers. Almost a decade on, and Emily is still chasing justice for her little one.
This is mathematics. 98%.
She's seeking compensation, but St. Anne's Kisaju has appealed the case, and the road has just been long. In July 2017, while working at the coast of Kenya as a reporter, the story of the
Angetokea mambo haya, lakini kuonekana na negligence, mpatae, watu hawajali, watu wanaangalia maslahi ya pesa, watu wataka tu waonekane masifa, jina kubwa St. Augustine ama jina kubwa la basi limeandikwa branding, kuuza tu jina ya shule na kufanya kama commercial.
But in a judgment that will shock the world, Casey Sarah and her co-accused were acquitted. And just like that, justice was served. The Traffic Amendment Bill 2017 provides that a person or institution shall not designate or use a vehicle for transporting children to and from school or non-school related activity unless it meets the prescribed standards. Such standards include being fitted with seatbelts. Contravention of this law attracts a fine, 2-month sentence, or both. This is Prince Drive Garage in Mirema. It specializes in converting imported vans to safe passenger vans for PSV and school transport. I am here to meet Eric Okabi, an automotive consultant who understands school bus safety issues.
Something that every driver who is driving a PSV should do before leaving the premises. One of them is do a walk around of the vehicle. Make sure all tires are in good condition. Secondly, you also need to do a walk around inside the vehicle. Remember, these vehicles are, they are driven every day and they are machines, so anything can fail at any time. Check if all the seats are anchored properly, if all the belts, the safety belts are functioning properly, if the seats again are anchored properly. You do not want to leave the premises, then brake and the seat moves with the vehicle. The other things are mechanical. Always do an oil check, do a coolant check, and then test your brakes, because brakes are a significant component when it comes to the vehicle. Test the steering, because steering again is very, very, very essential. In fact, a driver, any serious school, any serious organization that runs a public service vehicle, because school buses are PSVs, they should have a checklist that the driver has to go through and tick before the vehicle leaves the school premises.
And if you thought that careless driving is the only lacking danger for Kenya's youngest commuters, you are mistaken. Sex pests are on the prowl, looking for their next victim. A school bus conductor tasked and trusted to take children to and from school turns a monster. Due to the sensitivity of this case, we'll try to make sense of what happened using graphical images. April 11th, 2023, unlearning has just ended at the New Light schools, and it's time to call it a day. There is excitement among learners as they board the school bus. Once the bus is out of the school gate, learners are dropped off one by one. The last to be dropped off is a 3-year-old girl, but before she disembarks, the unthinkable happens. Police at the Soweto police station Kayole paraded a number of suspects, and the minor positively identified the alleged monster, Alfred Otiende. A children's rights group is questioning why Newlet School has not suspended Otiende as investigations go on. He's still working in the same capacity as a driver.
Tuko concerned kwa sababu huyu jamaa bado anafanya kazi pale pale, na unajua once umekuwa charge mambo kama mambo kwa abuse, child abuse, maybe offenses of Sexual Offences Act, hufai kufanya kazi tena na kitengo lolote inashughulika na mambo ya watoto.
In the course of filing this story, we learn of a similar incident that has just happened in Kitengela, Kajiado County. A 13-year-old has just been defiled by a driver of a private school in the area. The grade 8 student was visiting her elder sister for the April holidays from Western Kenya. She is broken to the core.
Nilienda huko asubuhi, nilikuwa nimeitwa kufanya huko kazi, kuosha vyombo na kupanguza nyumba. Nikaenda huko nikafanya hizo kazi na nikakaa nikaanza kuwatch. Nikawatch kafika lunch. Akapika lunch tukakula. Nikaosha vyombo na nikaendelea kukaa nikiwatch. Ikafika kitu saa 10 hapo. Akaenda kuoga akarudi. After kurudi akaenda bedroom akavaa na akarudi sitting. Akaniambia ati umekaa huku sana na nataka kukuambia nakupenda, nataka kulala na wewe. Akaniambia ananipenda na nataka kulala na mimi. Alisema nikimaliza shule nitakaa na yeye.
The man accused of committing this nasty crime is 39-year-old Bernardo Tieno, who works as a driver for the Glorious Group of Schools, a church-based primary school in Kitengela. This is the man that on day-to-day basis is trusted to ferry tens of children to and from their homes, both girls and boys. Sometimes you'll find him on the pulpit of this church preaching the word of God.
Huyu ni mtu anajulikana, anabebaga watoto wa shule hapa kwa shule ya Gloria na akona cheo kwa kanisa pia. Hiyo Gloria. Kuna mtu ananitafuta sasa hii tuongee, lakini sasa unaona sasa. Kuna mtu anataka tuongee kuhusu jamaa venye anaweza achiliwa. Sasa atoe kitu kidogo. Sasa unajua ile kitu anatoa nayo, unajua hizi kuwa imelipa justice. Hizi.
A medical examination conducted reaffirmed that she was defiled. And it's not just in Nairobi and Kajiado counties. In Mombasa, a school bus minder was arrested over the claims of defiling a 5-year-old pupil on her way home just before she was dropped off at their Kiembeni home in May 2021. The little girl was a student at the Mary Joy Primary School. Medical reports confirmed that she was defiled. In 2022, Silas Mogire, a school bus driver, was charged before Kibera Senior Resident Magistrate, charged with defiling a minor. He is alleged to have committed the offense on diverse dates between July and August 2022 along Godho Road in Riruta Satellite Dagoretti within Nairobi. The girl was aged 14 at the time of the crime. 4 years ago, a school bus conductor at Mount Sinai Primary School in Likoni, Kwale, was accused of defiling a 5-year-old girl on July 15th. According to reports, the victim was defiled by the conductor at the back of the bus. A medical examination at Likoni District Hospital revealed she had been defiled.
It's really tough covering this heart-wrenching story. And the more I listen to mothers, affected families, the more I realize how deep-seated this issue is. It's tough to think about a society that is supposed to protect children, but instead causing untold suffering.
My name is Mijide Kemoli, and I'm a multidisciplinary designer based in Nairobi, Kenya. So I work with non-profits, educational institutions, and socially conscious companies in educating audiences on a myriad of social issues through art and design, as well as gaming.
Mijide Kemoli, a road safety enthusiast, has invented educational games and uses graphic recording to teach people about the importance of road safety for school-going children, driven by her own near-death experience.
I went through my own personal experience in 2016, where myself, my parents, and 2 of my friends were involved in a car crash around Muthiga. That was in Muthiga. We were coming from the burial, actually, of a friend of mine, and we got hit by another car on the road around 7 p.m. and we ended up off the road. It was really like when we got out of the car, people were amazed. The people that were around were surprised that we all came out unscathed.
The National Road Safety Action Plan 2023-2027 proposes the integration of road safety into the school curriculum starting at primary school. Educational games such as this one can make a difference, according to Kemoli.
So What Will You Do is a game that takes players on a journey around Nairobi City, and something that I was very keen about was placing sites or drawing sites that people would be familiar with and people could connect to, as well as including different things like our exports, our animals, the Big Five, the Kenyan flag, Kenyan carrier, our money, so that people could really feel like they're going on that journey around the city. I'd like to see a world where there's zero deaths on the road, 0 deaths of children, where when a child boards a bus or when a child is on the commute to school, from school, wherever they're going, they're safe.
I want to know from the people tasked with law enforcement what commitment they have to end this madness.
I'm just wondering, because we've seen cases of deaths that can be avoided, is the government failing on surveillance in this front?
I wouldn't say that the government is failing on surveillance. The issues of safety has been with us for quite some time. And I think as a country, we must be ready to bite the bullet and enforce what is internationally accepted for us to be able to move and not just those who are going to school, but everybody else who is using, whether it's private or public transport.
Humphrey Lugongo is a father of two and a cobbler along the Langata-Ngong Links Road. From a vantage position, he witnesses on daily basis sheer carelessness from motorists, including those driving school buses.
Hii barabara ni mpya, haijamaliza hata miaka 3. Unapata driver shule ameruka, amekataa kupitia hapo chini, anapitia hapa katikati. Na hiyo gari ingine ikitokea huko inaweza gonga hata watoto waumie. Kitu kingine, wenye watoto wanashukishwa, hawashukishwi na ile ustarabu. Unajua watoto wenye wanabebwa na gari sana ni mtoto kuanzia miaka 4 mpaka 7. Huyo mtoto mifupa zake hatijakuwa mzito sana. Hadi inatakana mtu amshike mzuri, amteremshe chini. Lakini hawa wanaambia tu watoto shukeni venye. Kama anaambia mbuzi, unajua ukifungulia mbuzi nyumba zinaanza tu kukimbia mlango. Kama mzazi nikitoa mtoto kwa nyumba napatia mzazi wa pili, na huyo ni dereva.
Some schools like Sharp Educational Center in Kayole, Nairobi are now adopting an in-house junior school transport policy to help them manage their transport.
Anything which touches on the security of the learner is a priority to us, because our school is one of the areas which have been declared a safe place to bring the learners. And so right from the doorstep where these young ones come from up to the gate of our institution, we have to make sure that they are safe, and the way they came, they go back the same way, if not better. In our institution, we have something in a documented form called the Sharp Education Center and Junior School Transport Policy. And if I may take you through some of the bits of this policy. One, we must make sure that the vehicles are roadworthy. A roadworthy vehicle means that it must be in sound condition before it goes into the road.
Liam's mother, Mercy, has since opened a baby shop to make a living and at the same time to keep herself busy. She lives on memories of a son she loved and cherished. Rebuilding her life without him, however, will take time.
I usually try to recollect myself despite everything, because like now, getting to the house and Liam is not there despite the fact that we relocated. I'm like, now who should call me mommy, who should sing for me? You know, Liam used to sing so well. And before we go to bed, Liam could pray for us, could pray for everyone. And I'm like, now Liam is not there. We now pray for us the way he used to.
The late Trevor's mother, on the other hand, has taken up community empowerment in Kajiado, and she is in the process of setting up an NGO focused on providing emotional support to families who've lost their children through accidents while using school buses.
Ontomwa, let me tell you, as a parent, you can never heal. This is something I'll always carry in my heart. Hata ukae miaka ngapi, hata uzae, sababu I remember hata kuna marafiki zangu walikuwa wananiambia zaa ndio usahau. Hautaisahau. I remember kwanza during those early years, kwanzia hiyo 2015 mpaka almost 2020. Nilikuwa ninaona watu wakiniambia, wananiambia ati zaa ndio usahau. Sasa nilikuwa ninaona Trevor is feeling bad wherever he is, sababu kama naona I want to easily forget about him. Ni kama nataka nizae and then I get him out of my mind.
The Kenyan government acknowledges lapses in the enforcement of traffic regulations and says they are taking bold steps to address the issue touching on the safety of the little ones. But for those cruelly defiled, grieving families, the Liams, Trevors, and Jeremys, the pain may never fully heal, a future stolen by a broken system. Francis Ontomwa, KTN News.